Oh,
Yes, please.
oh no. I was just kidding. But anyway, I chose to speak with Jennifer because she brought up something I thought was very critical. We're talking big time serious business here. You're trying to influence change in a huge organization. No, it's only a country, right?
Only a country.
Our country too. And really, when you talk business like that, you ever hope to do anything, you gotta be willing to go all in. What I mean by that is if you have to lay down your life to get it done, you're gonna have to be willing to do that. And Jennifer was talking about this group of military men who are like-minded, I would imagine, by the way he describes it, who think alike, just like us. You know, they're for change, they're for positive change, they're for wanting a better Philippines. And what I found out from her was that they seem to be, even within Philippine military, a very, very small minority. Where some soldiers that attended their meetings were even discouraged by others from coming, telling them, you know, you're not going to learn anything there, how come you're going there? Right? To my mind, it's people, groups like this that must be supported, you know, must be encouraged. Just to put that in context, you know, when huge positive change happened in the Philippines, like when we transitioned from martial law back to democracy. It was military that was a very decisive force backing it up. So when you have something like this, I really think it's key. You gotta nurture it and encourage it. You know, if we can have contact with them and encourage them. I don't know how, but I just think that but people like them, they're key.
So it's going to some of the critical organizations that actually hold the roots of some of our problems. Thank you.
Military.
Yeah. Other things?
Here, coming, Bernie.
Yes. Tita Pam.
Okay. We shared together her experiences and lots of good suggestions that she told me. Because not only the scholarship that I put up in the Philippines, I also put up a company, a real estate and travel company. And the main objective of that company is to educate the OFW, Overseas Filipino Workers. Because in my study in the Philippines, when I was there, looks like it's 80 to 85% of their incomes are going to consumer goods. And sabi ko nga kay Bernie, I shared with her that I will not go somewhere else. Right in the family, I got my brother-in-law, an OFW for 30 years. When he came back, he was much poorer than he was before because nobody educated them how to save, where to put their money. So the purpose of the company is to educate the families of the OFW that there are lots of programs for them. Really, the government has a lot of programs through Pag-ibig and other that they can afford a housing for themselves. Most of them are renters. They don't own anything except their whatever they have, you know, clothes. You know, of course, they spend a lot in their education, the families, which I agree. But aside from that, they don't have anything. They're renters. After their tenure is done, they're still renters when they come back. So hopefully my company can try to educate them, and she gave me a very good idea of going to the Paris church so that the priest can help me out, announce that there's a free education seminars for OFWs.
Because first, most of the money that was sent by the OFW, most of the time the kids doesn't, it creates mendicancy, laziness to the kids. You know, sometimes I have these people, the relatives who ask for money, I send them.
To help the economy. So I told my partners in there, say, hey, we want one family get a house, you can just imagine how many carpenters we have, how many electricians we have, how many people that we employ in just buying that one house. So say, hey, this is a start. But of course, there is always a setback because Filipinos are very skeptical when a stranger approach you and saying there are good things, and they say to see is to believe. So that's a very good suggestion that Bernie gave me here. That probably I can go to the Paris, then explain it to the Paris the purpose of the company, and see if Paris is agreed to the objective, and say, hey, can announce, say, hey, there's a free seminar in here, come by, free coffee and donuts.
So Tito Fella's really responding to also what Bob was talking about. How do we create models, right, for folks? And it's alternative models of sustainability, of self-reliance,
Exactly.
that really promote the values that we want to talk about, and yet are also working with existing networks.
Exactly.
So it doesn't look like us Filipino Americans coming in and muscling our way in with all these ideas and solutions as if we will.
Which is really
Succeed
what,
them.
for example, the School of Government in Ateneo is doing with their social entrepreneurship program with OFWs. So they've already graduated a lot of people with this leadership and entrepreneurial training that they do in Italy, in somewhere in Middle East and in Singapore. So there are pilot projects already. But if more citizens, I think, could get involved in that and help support that program or be partners, I think then it grows bigger. So, yeah.
Other ideas that folks that came up in your conversation?
So me, Nilda, and Villa, we're talking about what Mr. Peligera said about OFW, that they're a very strong group that will file policy in the Philippines and good government, because they send lots of remittances in the Philippines, and they contribute to the economy of the Philippines in general. So if you want to take advantage of this group to affect the good governance, they need to set a control and policy that will be somebody who's looking at what this money is going to. And